Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I don't like saying that. I feel like I want to just say, hey friends, welcome back, let's hang out. Like I feel like it's too informal to say my channel, but it's weird because I'm used to saying welcome back to Decorate with Dana, but since this is now my other new channel, I don't say that. So I don't know. Welcome to my cooking, my first What's for Dinner. How about that? We'll say that. Welcome to my first What's for Dinner video. And I love watching these. I get so many ideas. I'm always looking, especially now since we've all been kind of doing having a stay-at-home order. I've been having to cook so much more and I'm getting sick of like the same old things. So I thoroughly enjoy watching What's for Dinner videos to get some ideas. So I'm hoping that you guys like that too. Just so you know, I cook super simply. Like I will try other things, but for the most part, I don't want dinner to take forever. I don't want a million dishes. So I try to look for simpler things that we're all going to enjoy and that are just not so complicated to do. Like I said, occasionally I will try something, but I also don't, it would frustrate me if I like worked so hard at something and tried all this different recipe and like half the family didn't like it. That would just frustrate me. So I try to stick with really simple things that a lot of people enjoy and that don't require a ton of pickup afterwards or cleanup afterwards. So I hope that you guys enjoy these type of videos. I hope it gives you a little bit of ideas. I would love if you have any recipes to suggest, if you want to leave them down in the description box or like a link to a website. I'd love to try them. I would even try them on here. So, let me know. But so tonight for this first night of my What's for Dinner, I'm going to make melt in your mouth chicken. So I just found it on Pinterest. I was looking up one pot meals or one pot chicken meals, I think is what I looked up. And this is what came up and it sounded so good and so easy. So that's what we're gonna make first. And literally there's 6 ingredients, my kind of meal. So the first ingredient that you're going to need is chicken. It called for 4 boneless chicken breasts. This one has 3. It's usually fine. My youngest daughter doesn't eat a ton of meat, so I think it's fine with that. And then mayonnaise, garlic powder, seasoned salt, and black pepper, and Parmesan cheese. And that's it. That's all the ingredients that you're gonna need. So the first thing that we're going to do, this is a little bit earlier than I would be cooking it because you are supposed to take the chicken breast, trim off any extra fat, and then just slice them into 3 slices and put them in either some whole milk or some buttermilk. I'm just gonna do whole milk. I couldn't find buttermilk. I know you can make it by putting vinegar in, but it didn't really matter. It didn't say like that it really specifically had to be buttermilk, so why make it any more complicated? We're just gonna use milk. I'm gonna slice them into just, 3 chunks each breast and marinate those or put those in the milk in the refrigerator till we're ready to make dinner a little bit later. So I'm going to quickly do that and then I will check back in with you guys after it's done soaking in the milk for a while when it's time to make dinner. We're gonna make dinner. And so we're gonna make this and then we're gonna be making some Parmesan, like creamy Parmesan rice and roasted asparagus for dinner. So we will get started with this. So I actually ended up using 5 chicken breasts. I opened another pack. These are very small. I mean, I have to take whatever I can get as far as chicken is concerned. And so they're just tiny little chicken breasts. So I'm probably just gonna cut most of them that are real small like this just in half, put them in here, and then we'll put the milk on them. So I am just going to put these in the refrigerator and I will come back to them in a couple hours. The recipe said at least 30 to 45 minutes, but all the way up to overnight. So it is only 1 right now. So I will come back to this in a few hours when I'm ready to cook dinner. So the first thing you want to do is preheat your oven to 375 degrees, and then I took a 9 by 13 inch pan and sprayed it with cooking spray. After that, I'll just be taking the chicken that was soaking in the milk for a few hours and just spread it all over the bottom of the 9 by 13 inch pan. Next, in a small bowl, or medium to small sized bowl, I will be mixing together the mayonnaise, the Parmesan cheese, half a cup of the Parmesan cheese, not the full cup, a teaspoon of seasoning salt, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, and a teaspoon of garlic powder. After I give that a really good mix, I will spread that all over the top of the chicken and then top that with the other half cup of Parmesan cheese. Next, I will put it in the oven to bake for 45 minutes. And then what I did after, and I think it says this in the directions, but I'm not positive. The last few minutes, I did put it under the broiler so that the top got really browned.
I wanna get to your clothes, gotta get it right now. I wanna push all the limits with you right now. So watch your feelings, the city's screaming, we're not coming home tonight. We're living quick in the world, gotta get it right now. People talk and tell what you wanna hear now, but they all disappear, they will let you down. So we better stick together, let's come whatever, we're not coming home tonight. We're living quick in the world, gotta get it right now.
So the next thing we're gonna make is creamy Parmesan rice. So the ingredients you're gonna need for this is rice. This is the only rice I could find. For some reason, rice is super hard to find right now. So we're gonna use this one, some minced garlic, Parmesan, 4 tablespoons of butter. In this, I have 1 cup of milk and 1 cup of water. I just mixed them together because they're gonna go in at the same time, and salt. So we will go ahead and get started with this creamy Parmesan rice. So over medium-high heat, you just want to melt your 4 tablespoons of butter and then 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. I'm using this already minced garlic. I just use like a heaping teaspoon. I don't really know. We love garlic, so there's really no such thing as too much garlic for us. And then with that, you're going to add in the 1 cup of uncooked white rice. And then you're just going to kind of let that slightly brown a little bit over the heat. And then next you will just add your 1 cup of water and 1 cup of milk and a half a teaspoon of salt and let that come to a boil. And then you'll turn the heat down to low and let that simmer for 20 minutes. So while that is simmering, then I'm just going to start my asparagus. So I just got a bunch of asparagus from Sam's Club. I just hold it at the 2 ends and bend it in half, and it's supposed to snap where it is no longer tough. So I just did some asparagus, washed that down really well, put it on my cookie sheet lined with aluminum foil, and then I just take some olive oil, drizzle it with olive oil, salt, and pepper, and that's it. Normally I would do it at about 400 degrees. I put it in the 375 degree oven with the chicken and it turned out great. I think it cooked for maybe 20 minutes and it was perfect. So once the rice is done, I just give that a good stir. I add in the Parmesan cheese and I just added a splash of milk just to make it a tad bit creamier. This was absolutely the most delicious side dish. So here is dinner for this evening. This was probably one of the easiest meals to pull together, and yet it looks relatively hard to do, and it wasn't at all. That chicken is melt in your mouth delicious, and the rice is even better. So definitely give these a try. I'm going to link the recipes down in the description box, but this is what's for dinner tonight. Okay, so tonight's what's for dinner is steak sandwiches, and it's a super easy, fast recipe. So I like to get this ribeye steak. It's finely sliced, and you can make steak and you can thinly slice it if you want to do that. This cooks up in literally 2 to 3 minutes. So I have 2 packages of that. I'm not sure if I'll need both, but we will see. I just want to have them just in case. And then normally I would put onions in this recipe also, and I thought I had an onion and I don't have any left. So I am just going to use peppers and mushrooms. You can just use peppers and onions. You can just use one or the other. Or if you're like my youngest daughter, she literally just likes the steak with cheese on her sandwich. So, you can kind of put it, you can kind of fix it however you want. But since I don't have an onion, I wish I did. It would be so much better. I'm going to saute the peppers and the mushrooms, and I might add a little garlic just to give it a little bit more flavor since I don't have an onion. And then I just have some olive oil and butter, and then any other kind of seasoning that I'm going to put on the steaks. I'm not sure, salt, pepper, but I will let you know as I am doing that. So I'm just going to start by prepping the veggies first.
But you're trying to deny that we should be together. It's heavy weather, we're heading for tonight. You better take what you can, cause the time is right now. We only need the two of us.
So I'm going to start with sauteing the peppers. I just added in about a tablespoon of butter with a tablespoon of olive oil and added the peppers. This is where I would add the onions with it also if I had them. And then in a separate pan, just because they cook a lot faster, I'm adding again another tablespoon of butter with some olive oil and putting the mushrooms in that pan. So I did let the peppers cook for probably a good 20 minutes. It's just going to be to whatever desired tenderness you want your vegetables to be. And then after I did half the mushrooms, then I put the other half in the pan to cook. I just didn't want to overcrowd the pan. So then once the mushrooms are done and the peppers are done, I'm going to put those all in a bowl and set them aside. Then I'm going to take that same pan that the peppers were cooked in, and I'm going to add a tablespoon or so of olive oil, and I'm going to cook the meat in that. And I'm just going to do in smaller batches. I do it in like 2 batches just so it cooks evenly and quick. So after the meat is all browned, then I'll put that on a plate, and then I'm going to do another batch of meat until it's all browned. Literally, it cooks in 2 to 3 minutes tops. It's just that thinly sliced. So I did hold a little meat aside without any peppers or mushrooms in it for my youngest daughter who just wants the meat. So then once all of the meat is browned, then I'm going to add everything back into this pan, the peppers, mushrooms, everything, give it a good mix. And then you'll see I kind of separate in the pan where the meat that has the peppers and mushrooms in it, and then just left a little spot for the meat for my daughter that doesn't have any. And then I'm going to sprinkle that all with mozzarella cheese and just let it melt on the stovetop. You can use provolone. I actually prefer provolone. I just didn't have any, and I didn't want to make a special trip to the store just to get cheese. So I used mozzarella, and it turned out great. So this was another meal that was so super easy to put together. It's one of our family favorites. It's just easy. And I just served it with a salad on the side because between the roll and everything, you kind of get your carbs. So just a hearty salad with some bacon and cheese in it. And it was delicious and a perfect weeknight meal. So today we are going to make the oatmeal cream pie recipe from the Magnolia 2 cookbook. Because, you know, I haven't baked in like 2 days. I don't know about you guys. Let me know. Have you been baking a lot? Because I feel like that's all we've been doing. So I have flour, sugar, and oats. I need to fill my sugar canister, but flour, sugar, oats, baking soda, salt, molasses, ground cinnamon, vanilla, 1.5 sticks of butter, 1 egg, and some dark brown sugar. So these are the ingredients that you're going to need for the actual cookies, and then we will be making the cream filling after while the cookies are baking. So we're just going to preheat the oven to 375. So I am just taking a few cookie sheets and lining them with parchment paper just to get them ready for when the mix is ready to go on them. And now I'm just mixing the butter and the brown sugar and the regular sugar and giving that a mix, adding in the eggs and vanilla and molasses. And then the whole dry mixture will be mixed together in a separate bowl and added in with this. Again, this is from the Magnolia Table 2 cookbook, and it is amazing. It takes those Little Debbie oatmeal cream pies to a whole new level. It is just so delicious. So this will definitely be something we make all the time now. So after I kind of messed up and forgot a stick of butter, which I think I talk about here pretty soon, once I made it right, they turned out absolutely perfect. And, you know, just made a nice little dessert after our next meal that I'm going to make.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars. Maybe the birds will sing about your heart. Maybe the trees will whisper the word. Maybe the sun will spread your joy to the ones who lost their hope. Fill my head with roses. I can't help but drink.
Okay, so these just came out of the oven. They came out perfect. Now, where I made a mistake, which I forgot to film, was it was actually 2.5 sticks of butter, and I thought that the dough was really thick. So I had made all the little dough balls and put them on the cookie sheet and put them in the refrigerator to cool. And I was looking back at the directions and I missed a whole stick of butter. So I took all those the cookie balls, put them back in the bowl, mixed in another stick of softened butter, and they ended up coming out perfect. So just make sure you guys realize it's 2.5 sticks of butter. So now for the best part of these cookies is the frosting, or the buttercream frosting in the middle. So it's just butter and powdered sugar and vanilla and just a little bit of milk, and it made the most delicious buttercream frosting. And then I just put like a tablespoon or a dollop size on one half of the cookies on the bottom, and then put another one on top of it and just made a little sandwich, and they were amazingly perfect.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars.
Next recipe we're going to make is called tomato spinach chicken spaghetti. Have not made this before, so we'll give it a try. I have some boneless, skinless chicken breasts. You can also use chicken thighs. It actually called for chicken thighs. I don't really love chicken thighs, so I'm going to use chicken breasts, but I will have the original recipe linked down below. I have some baby spinach, 4 Roma tomatoes, some fresh basil, some garlic, spaghetti, salt, crushed red pepper flakes, some sun-dried tomatoes in oil, olive oil, and then some extra virgin olive oil. And this should be everything we need. So I'm going to start off by cutting this into bite-sized pieces.
Look out, here she comes, the woman that I love. It's too bad she'll never know.
So to this pan over medium-high heat, we're going to add our sun-dried tomatoes. They were already julienned. I really didn't have to do too much. I mean, I did chop them a tiny bit. And then 2 tablespoons of oil that the sun-dried tomatoes were in.
'Cause I hope that I'm not showing how I feel for her, but she won't feel the same for me. I've got this picture in my mind. It's just the 2 of us.
So the crushed red pepper flakes are optional. I think they gave just enough of a little kick to this pasta dish, but if you don't like that or you don't like spice at all, you definitely can leave it out or use very little. And then here I'm just taking my Roma tomatoes and slicing or dicing them up, not too tiny, but just into small bite-sized pieces. And then taking a handful of basil and chopping that up as well.
She's with somebody else and I will have to let her go. She will never know, na-na. Never know, na-na. She will never know, na-na. Never know, na-na. She'll never know. It's like she stole my heart.
So now I'm just adding in some garlic. I'm adding in the tomatoes and basil and 8 ounces of baby spinach. I should have used a much bigger pan and I didn't, but that's okay. The spinach cooks down, so it really was fine. And I knew it was going to cook down, so I didn't bother switching it to another pan. Just put the lid on it and let it wilt till it cooked down. So here I'm starting a pot for the spaghetti and then just continuing to stir this just until the spinach melts or wilts down, and then we're going to put a lid on it and remove it from the heat once that's all done. And we'll go ahead and boil our spaghetti according to package directions, leaving it just a little bit al dente at the end. And then when the spaghetti is done, we'll mix it all together. And I top it with a little more fresh basil just because I love fresh basil. And then I take a little bit of a good olive oil and drizzle it on there also. Again, optional. You definitely don't need to do that. And then I just topped it. I added a little more salt and pepper to taste. And then at the end, I topped it with a little bit of freshly grated Parmesan. And this is, out of the 3 meals, probably my favorite. It was light and just really delicious and easy to make. So thank you all so much for stopping by and checking out my first What's for Dinner video. I hope you guys like these type of videos. I have so much fun making them because I actually get to experiment and try different recipes, and that's always fun. So let me know what you guys think. And thank you so much for stopping by. Let me know if you guys try any of these. I would love to know what you think. I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to check out Decorate with Dana. That channel will be linked down in the description box also. And follow me on Instagram at Decorate with Dana. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.